he was lifting weights. And I was like, it's like I'm imagining that the weights is this like fake weights, because I'm looking at your legs, Bakari, and I'm like, how are you able to lift all that weight? And I know you're tall, brother, but you're apparently very strong as well. Let me welcome former South Carolina House of Representative, author of My Vanishing Country, and soon to be at the State of Black Male, the Black Male for Ford's Men of Courage. Let me welcome Bakari Sellers.
Thank you so much for having me. And first of all, I got to stay in shape. I'm playing rec league basketball, so I got to stay in some shape out there. And I was deadlifting 225 for those of your listeners who want to know. But I like to get it in and running I'm looking forward to Starsky joining me, hopefully, but I'm running a 10K in Vegas in February. Black men got to stay healthy, man. So I'm out there doing everything I can do to stay healthy and stay alive for my babies, man.
Well, I was going to say your twins are keeping you active. They are a whole festival, those two. I'm watching them.
You may hear them because they're so rude. I'm like, Daddy has to work and they don't care. So they don't have a lot of tolerance for Daddy's work schedule. So we're here and just, I love to be able to work from home and be on your show and do all of those things. The COVID has thrown us off kilter a lot, but being able to wear my Barack Obama alumni t-shirt from 2007 and be able to kiss my babies when I get off from doing the Karen Hunter show that's a blessing, and we have to soak it all up.
I tell folks the gift of this moment is, especially on these Zooms, is so we don't apologize for children because we're invading their space, doing all this stuff from our home. So glad you get to be with them. And I'm gonna hit you up about that 10K.
Let me know.
In Vegas in February, I think the temperatures may be okay. Generally, I don't know if I want to talk about running in Vegas, but February is a month where
it's outside. Of course it's outside, but it's at night. So it's gonna be
okay.
It's they wanted me to run half a marathon, and I said, who chasing me? That's the only way I'm gonna do that. But you can get me to do a 10K.
Now, what's the I imagine you're doing it for charity. Imagining somebody's
I just found a race and wanted to do it. Listen,
okay.
The only way I work out is if I have a target, a basketball season that I'm really too old for, a Murph or a race somewhere. I mean, I think that Chadwick Boseman, and this kind of ties into a lot of things. We saw he just there was a $4.5 million Netflix scholarship announced today in his honor at Howard. But
that was from Netflix. I talked about that. I didn't know it came from Netflix. Go ahead now.
Yeah, no, and I just think that he taught a lot of us the fragility of life. And so, man, I'm serious about staying in shape now. So yeah, it ain't for charity. I mean, if somebody wants a charitable contribution, if I make it to the finish line, I will give it. But this is selfishly for me to stay in shape.
I love it. Are you running for office? Because I see you run. See how I did that? The running. Are you running for?
I am running for my life. I am running from these student loans. It's always amazing that Facebook and Instagram go down, but Sallie Mae and Navient never go down, right? The Fed loan servicing never goes down. So no, I'm not running for anything. I'm waiting on Jim Clyburn to retire whenever that time comes, and then we'll take a look at the 6th congressional district. But right now he is in South Carolina. He endorsed a good friend of mine, Tamika Isaac Devine, who's trying to be the first Black female mayor of the city of Columbia. And he did it today wearing a coral pink blazer. So I don't think Jim Clyburn is slowing down at all anytime soon.
Oh, we had Jamie Harrison's popping in on us every month, and you and I met at the State House as that flag was coming down. You joined me, and that was the first time I met your tall self, and I was super impressed. And I'm like, this man needs to be involved more. And, I love, your behind the scenes activity, but South Carolina deserves better leadership, than a Lindsey Graham, than a Tim Scott. And I feel like, my ancestors come from there, my granddaddy's from Somerville, rest his soul. And, the roots of enslavement, that was a breeding state that was a port of entry from Barbados, from the Caribbean. And a lot of our blood, sweat, and tears literally in that soil in South Carolina, and it deserves better leadership. So I'll just say that out loud.
Listen, I don't disagree with you, but I will tell you some of the things that we have to do in South Carolina is similar to other parts of the country. People just want to wake up and want their state to be Georgia overnight. They want to just organize during election season and say, we can win this race. We're going to be like Stacey Abrams in Georgia. But what they don't know is the work she did behind the scenes. What they don't know is she started raising money back in 2014 for Fair Fight. They don't know the precinct by precinct level organization that was done to register new voters, to find them, to identify them, because it ain't cheap and it ain't easy. It is thankless, tiring work. And so we have to be dedicated to that in South Carolina if we are going to ever end up like Georgia, which is now purple, or North Carolina, which is purple, or even Virginia, which is blue. We have a long way to go, as our brethren and some of our ancestors are from Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana. Those states can change, but the work has to start today. And then if the work starts today, then that means by the 2026 or 2028 election cycle, you can reap the benefits thereof.
Mm. We're here with Reverend Dr. Starsky Wilson, who also, of course, is the head of the Children's Defense Fund. Bakari Sellers is here. You are working with Forward Men of Courage, and you're going to be on a panel participating in the state of the Black male. What is the state of the Black male?
That's a big, bold question. I think that the state of the black male is undeterred. I think that it's one where we have to give ourselves a little bit more grace than we have. I think it's one that going into COVID, the uncertainty surrounding it, both from a public health and economic perspective, shocked our core and shocked our consciousness. But it's one, the state of the Black male is emerging from that. We are emerging stronger mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually than we went in. I know a lot of individuals who just need to take a deep breath and give themselves a pat on the back because, mama, we made it. Right. There are a lot of individuals who are not able to say that they are still above water after COVID. It took a lot of folk out, literally and figuratively. But you see Black men, particularly a lot of the ones that we're going to spend time with this week in Detroit, and shout out to Ford. I mean, the men of courage, having the audacity to allow Black men to be dreamers, having the audacity to allow them to gather and to share our woes, our tribulations, our trials, but also our successes, and be able to be in an environment where we can motivate and push each other. I think, we talk about these companies that are doing and that are having a post George Floyd moment, but Ford has been doing this work for a very long period of time. And it's not just throwing a little bit of money at something. This is actually very intentional and purposeful. And so the state of the Black male is one that's resilient, undeterred, unbowed, unbroken. It's actually still words from a Black woman.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the spaces that have held you, brother, as a Black man in this society. So I was sharing with Karen earlier, I spent this past weekend, I was in Atlanta, and one of our, kind of common kin in this broader connection, David Calloway, brother Don Calloway, whom you know as well, got married. And there were these moments, of course there is,
Wait, pause. Don wasn't married before?
No, Don
is
married.
David. Yeah, Don's married. Don's younger brother.
Okay, all right. Because I was like, I haven't seen his wife.
So Don was the best man. So just imagine the toast, right? So that's Don, right? But David got married, and there are the two moments, right? So he's a Morehouse guy, he's a Kappa. So of course there's a sweetheart song moment of the circle. Then there's the Morehouse song. And there was this, he had a friend, Brothers White, from seventh grade. And he's one of his groomsmen. And someone asked him to be the person to record the Morehouse alma mater, from the middle. So he's in the middle, and he was shaken after it. He was moved by having been able to have access to it, because it was one of those spaces. There was like a liminal space for Black manhood and connection and community. And so we had both of those moments. And that's the stuff that we miss. And so I was reconnected with that this weekend. It was so significant. I wanted to ask, what have been those moments for you? Those kind of cradles, those moments of community to nurture you in this work and in being as a Black man for the things that you're accomplishing with?
I mean, that's a good question. So I think first and foremost, I'll start kind of close to my center and branch out. First and foremost, of course, are just the friends, the Don Callaways, the Kyle Harris, who's a spokesperson for the mayor of Baltimore, who randomly we have to pray for him. He just came out and announced he got diagnosed with COVID-19, Mayor Scott in Baltimore, Maryland. And so, the Jared Lodholtz, who I believe you had recently on your show, the Antoine Seawrights, who's a top flight lobbyist and political consultant, we talk every day, we check in with each other every day. So it's that nexus of good friends who keep you humble, who keep you balanced, who tell you when you're full of it, and who try to give you your flowers while you're living. Then, it's my father and brother who are intentional and purposeful in teaching me how to be a father, through their lived experiences. I think that fatherhood is something, brotherhood is something that has to be, it has to be done through example, through community. And I think that, having them pulling me close to the bosom and showing me and teaching me how to love, because I want to give it all away, but you have to know how to do it, right? And so I think those things are so important. Mm-hmm. And then as I move further out, I like to not just this weekend, but I get, one of my thrills is talking to other young Black men. I don't really want to talk to too many old folk too much, but when you put me in an audience with, teenagers or high school students or college students or millennials or young people in the workforce, that's where you learn a lot from other individuals. That's where that is where growth happens. And so that excites me. And so, those are kind of the three, and all of them you have to search for, man. You gotta search for these spaces to grow. A lot of people are like, when they feel their lives becoming stagnant, it's because they weren't an active participant in their life. They were expecting things to rain down on them, right? like melodies from heaven. But that's not the way life works, right? Like you have to go out and actively be a part of making yourself better and seeking out these forums and spaces and humans that make your life better. And those are the three ways in which I do that.
Bakari, BAKARI_Sellers. It's where you can follow him on the Twitters, which is the only platform that's up besides Nubia right now. Bakari Sellers, he's going to be at Fort Men of Courage on their panel. This is this weekend. When is it? It's tonight?
Friday.
Friday.
Detroit, Michigan on Friday.
Okay. What are you going to teach Stokely about being a man? I feel like we're in so many inflection points right now. Where definitions of things, like defining manhood, what does that mean? And then how do you teach that to the next generation of future men, Black men in particular?
I'm actually writing about this in my new book, which comes out I have a book coming out in January, which is a children's book, which is extremely dope, called Who Are Your People? Because in the South, people always ask, who are your people and where are you from? So Who Are Your People is my new book coming out. It's already illustrated by a great illustrator named Reggie Brown, another Black man. And so, that's dope. But in my next The Dope book, which comes out prior to the election in 2022, I actually write a letter to
The Dope book?
Yeah, it's like, that's a youthful colloquialism means.
I know what it means. Don't play yourself, Bakari. I would jump through this Zoom and kick you right in your throat on these airways. Don't play yourself.
In a certain part of the country, people are already wearing Timbs up there where y'all are. So I'm using the lingo. But nah, you know what? Instead of teaching Stokely, man, I'm gonna show him. I'm emotional. It's okay for Stokely to cry. I'm not the father who's like, don't cry, boys don't cry, wipe those tears. Now I pick them up and I'm like, why are you crying? Are you hurt? All right, is something bothering you? Well, tell me what's bothering you. Like allowing people to grow emotionally and not stunt them at 3 years old. Now, is this right? I don't know. We're going to figure it out as we go. That's kind of how parenting is. If he ends up, a sociopath or something, you have to say, I didn't do it right. But my prayer is that he becomes a change agent along the way. And I want to show him that. I want to show him we're big proponents. I always say in our family, Stokely and Sadie, and they do it back to me. I say, we give big kisses, we give big hugs, we give big love, right? And they do big. I'm like, how much does daddy love you? And they say big, because that's kind of the environment that I want them to feel comfortable in growing in. And then I just want him to be comfortable in his own skin. Give him the space. I'm just going to give him the boundaries. Basically what boys is don't kill yourself and don't kill nobody else, but, give him the boundaries. And along those boundaries, allow him the opportunity and space to grow within himself and be comfortable being who he is, and knowing that I have about 22 tattoos, something crazy.
Do
like
you?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that when you were lifting weights, so none of them must be on them little
I
bird
gotta
legs
take
you
my
got.
shirt off in my next weightlifting picture. Get me in trouble. Come home. My wife will be like, "Why you thotting around on Instagram?" Whenever you get back up. So I got like 22 tattoos, and one of them is from Albert Einstein. It says, "Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile," and that is something that I teach Stokely all the time. And
Where is that? Where does that reside on your body?
it's on my left.
Oh,
side.
okay. Oh, now he really flexing. All right, put your shirt down. Put your sleeve down.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
Speaking of thotting around, see,
Just out here showing out.